Satnam and welcome. My name is Dr. Ann Taylor. It is my honor to lead you in Kundalini Yoga this morning. As we begin this January series, I'm actually quite excited about, well, I'm excited about all of them, but this one, I'm bringing some depth psychology into the series because after all, we are Western people practicing an Eastern tradition. So what is depth psychology? It's the study of the unconscious mind, which is a bit of a impossibility because the unconscious, by definition, is not known. A parallel that I really love between depth psychology and yoga being all types of yoga, the basic definition of yoga being to yoke that egoic mind with the transcendent part of ourselves, the Atman. And similarly, in depth psychology, it's about aligning the ego with the higher self. And so most of us in the West, when we start our goals, many people start New Year's resolutions, or at least reflecting on the year and what needs to be planned out. And there's a very pragmatic side to that should not be ignored. But for this series, we're starting with the question, what matters most to you? And it's an attempt to quiet the ego mind and give the soul a chance to speak. In the Buddhist tradition, there's a concept called the hungry ghosts. And that is, the more they eat, the more they want. And they've got these extremely thin necks and these huge bellies. It's very hard and it's painful for them to eat, and they keep getting bloated, but they're never satisfied. They always have to keep consuming more. Well, there are remnants of that certainly in our Western culture. And I'm sure most of us have experienced this. There's something you want really badly. You save up for it, you work for it, you achieve it, and then it's kind of like the is that all there is feeling, that old song. Is that all there is? When we align with the impulses of the soul, that changes. We move into a life of more fulfillment, and it's not easy. We don't always want to listen to the soul. So the question, what matters most? This work is based on the work of James Hollis. He's probably one of the most famous Jungian analysts in the country, in the United States, that is, living a more considered life. In a book by him called Living the Questions on this journey we call life, I'll just read a few of these since this is our first class, and just to kind of plant some seeds and get you thinking. What are your patterns? Where do you feel stuck? That's going to be more for next week. What anxiety is aroused when you contemplate alternatives? What specific fears can be unpacked from the much vaguer but paralyzing angst? Now, this is a key question. Which of those fears is based on childhood experience with its limited powers and its limited awareness of the world? So growing up, part of our role is to get in step with society. I mean, that's a necessary part of living in a human culture of humanity. But come midlife, Carl Jung suggested the role is to change the process and begin to go in and begin to identify yourself as an individual. And that just doesn't mean to be your own unique self. It really means to get in touch with who you were meant to be and what your destiny is meant to unfold. Can you risk being a larger person? So there's more questions. Okay, so the questions I put, I get carried away, in the email this morning, what matters most? And that's something to contemplate through the whole month. Because, we could say, yes, my family is the most valuable thing to me, but how much time am I dedicating to that? Or, and I'm not necessarily talking about like a full-blown change of careers, although that could happen. Maybe there's an artistic part of you that got suppressed in childhood when you were told, no, you're not going to go to art school, or the art program's being cut, whatever. And there was a lack of value, and that talent may have gotten pushed down. So we're really looking for the hidden gold, what the hidden talents that want to be expressed. And the second question, what wants to unfold through you? So, I'm a child of the 50s and 60s. And so John F. Kennedy famously said, don't ask what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. So in a sense, we incarnate into this life with a purpose and a mission, at least from a yogic perspective, that's what is believed. And the creation of life wants you to be a vessel for its expression. And so if that's a new concept, think about it, debate it, comment on it. But now let's get into the practice. And we'll begin by tuning in with the Adi mantra, chanting Ong Namo, Gurudev Namo 3 times. If you are new to Kundalini Yoga, there may be some things that seem really odd. That's okay. Just let it wash through you. Ong Namo, Ong, the creative force of the universe, I call upon you as we go from darkness to light within our own being, and honor the teachings that came before. Rubbing the palms of the hands together, placing them at the heart center, and pressing the thumbs into the sternum. Allow the eyes to close. Focus at the brow point. Relaxing the shoulders, allowing the spine to lengthen as we inhale deeply. Exhale. And inhale to tune in. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Exhale, relax the hands down. And so how do we begin to answer these questions? We're not going to use the rational mind for this process. We're going to use the body, and we're going to tap into intuition and allow the answers to bubble up on their own accord. This is not a mental exercise at all. The body, the trauma experts of today, like Van der Kolk and others, maintain that the traumatic imprints from our childhood or from whenever a trauma is received is held in the tissues of the body, and that the body has wisdom way beyond rational thought. As we practice Kundalini Yoga, meditation, pranayama, mantra, our bodies begin to literally vibrate and resonate with certain patterns of frequency that can begin to dislodge some of these embedded traumatic processes. So if you feel at some point, like during a yoga class, this happens more in standing positions. If your legs start shaking or something like that, let them go. The nervous system is releasing. So let that happen. We are going to begin with a Kriya to know through intuition. And so typically I've been doing pranayama at the beginning, but there's a lot of pranayama throughout these two Kriyas. Now, just as a reminder, this is about you and you. It's not about you keeping up with anybody in the class. We've opened the sacred circle. It's not about you keeping up with me or any of that. Some of these positions are going to get uncomfortable. This exercise begins with the 1-minute breath. And so that simply means to inhale 20 seconds, suspend 20 seconds, exhale 20 seconds. I can't quite do that. So begin either with 5 or 10 seconds. Keep the 3 segments equal. Inhale, suspend, exhale. 5, 5, 5, or 10, 10, 10. If you could do 20, 20, 20, that's great. So sitting in easy pose with a straight spine, bend the left elbow and put it at the level of the heart. The palm is flat, pointing down towards the floor. The right arm will be at a 60-degree angle. So that would be like 11 o'clock or 1 o'clock if you're imagining an old-fashioned analog clock. And we begin with the 1-minute breath. And let's begin. Going at your own pace, inhaling. Suspending and then exhaling. Make sure the segments are kept equal. If you find on the exhale you're running into a little trouble and you need to gasp, shorten the segments. The eyes are closed. Focus at the third eye point between the eyebrows. Remember that as when you begin the inhale, you're going to begin at the belly, open up the belly, draw the breath all the way to the collarbones, and then reverse the process. When we slow the breath down, we are directly impacting our autonomic nervous system, allowing it to begin to rebalance. We're working at multi-levels here. You may notice at times your ego is going to start getting like a 2-year-old and try to pull your attention away. All of a sudden, you may have an itch somewhere that absolutely needs to be scratched. See if you can resist the temptation and simply come back to the breath. If you're brand new to Kundalini Yoga and this is just torturing you, and you feel that you must put your arm down, go ahead and do so. But I'd like you to visualize your arm in this 60-degree position and keep that mental focus. And then in a few seconds, when you're able to, raise your arm back up. Open up the belly when you inhale. The breath starts low. It's not a breathing from the chest. You're starting by expanding your abdomen, allowing the diaphragm to come down on the inhalation. If you are fairly new to Kundalini Yoga, do not be discouraged if you're finding this very, very challenging. Most of the students in the class have been with me for a while, and it's a matter of releasing and surrender. This is not accomplished through muscle strength. It's actually a letting go. As long as the ego is in charge, there's going to be a fight. See if you can find that switch and have the ego just surrender and say, okay, all right already. And let something deeper take over. And if the mind is very busy, simply notice, don't fight it, and come back to the breath. Final minute. Keep up. You're doing great. We've been linking the heart center and the auric field and your projection together through this exercise. And now inhale deeply, staying in the position, suspend the breath. Tighten all the muscles of the body. Squeeze the rectum. Squeeze all the muscles. Exhale. And one more time, deep inhale. Suspend and tighten all the muscles of your body. Exhale and relax. Excellent. Now, please allow your eyes to remain closed and be with your experience. Okay. The next exercise we'll be using whistling. So just think of a tune that you like, and we'll be whistling. Now, we're working on many levels here. Whistling directly stimulates the vagus nerve, which is good for your autonomic nervous system. That's a whole nother lecture, but whistling is a great thing to do when you're driving. And so in this exercise, we're going to be exercising the sixth chakra, which is the arc line. And another arm position, but not for as long. So the mudra is going to be to place the hands together and cross the thumbs, and they'll be out like this. Again, the eyes will be closed, focused at the brow point. So I'll be whistling, which may be a little distracting. But let's begin. Okay. Arms are out. We're past the halfway mark. Again, if you need to put your arms down, if it's a must, not a problem. Just visualize, just stay in the place mentally, just a meditative state, visualizing those arms out. Inhale deeply. Exhale, relax the posture. Allow the eyes to remain closed and just breathe normally. The next exercise is Lotus Mudra. This one is not going to be quite as challenging. The Lotus Mudra is, I'll come a little bit closer. You're going to put the pinkies and the thumbs together and the sides of the hands. Now, if you can expand your hands open more, mine are a little bit stiff, but that's basically it. You're opening up like a lotus flower. And simply place it at the level of your face and begin long, deep breathing. And I will time us and try to relax into it. So this exercise is considered the fulcrum of this Kriya. We're creating a polarity between the fixed hand position, which are acting like antennae, and the relaxed cells of the rest of the body. Welcome and receive information and intuition from the known and unknown as you just breathe into this position. Don't force anything. Allowing the hands to act like antennae. Inhale deeply, and now clasp the hands and press them into the heart center as hard as you reasonably can. Exhale, and let's repeat. Inhale deeply. Suspend the breath and press the hands into the heart center. Exhale, and one last time. Deep inhale. Suspend the breath and press. Exhaling and relax. Before we close the class with a long sat and a short nam. Hands at the heart center. Inhale deeply. Exhale and inhale to close. Sat Nam. Sat Nam. Thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful day.